There's a football club in England with a stadium built for the Premier League, a fan base louder than most Champions League sides, and an owner young enough to still be mistaken for a player. This is the story of Sunderland A.F.C, a giant that collapsed. Until a 23-year-old billionaire walked through the door and promised to fix everything. But here's the twist. The truth behind Sunderland's fall and rebirth is darker and crazier than anyone expected. How did a club with Premier League history and one of the most passionate fan bases on earth end up in League One, England's third tier, humiliated, broken and bleeding money? And why did Kyril Louis-Dreyfus, the heir to one of Europe's richest families, decide to save them? Today, we dive into a story of betrayal, rebirth and ambition. A story of corporate chaos and footballing hope. A story that proves one thing: never underestimate a sleeping giant. Because Sunderland's comeback is crazier than you think. Welcome back to Football Cosmos. We're a small channel hoping to grow. Subscribe to the channel. Before Kyril Louis-Dreyfus arrived, Sunderland wasn't just struggling, they were drowning. We go back to the late 2010s, the Sunderland Till I Die era. A documentary so heartbreaking, it felt like watching a car crash in slow motion. The club was a mess on the pitch, off the pitch. Financially, emotionally, decisions were rushed, managers came and went, players were signed with no structure, no vision, no long-term strategy. The owners at the time were desperate, looking for cheap, quick fixes, cutting corners, trying to plug holes instead of building something sustainable. And the fans, they watched their proud club, a former Premier League mainstay, fall to League One, the lowest point in modern Sunderland history. Imagine 30,000 plus fans in a third division stadium, still showing up, still chanting, still hoping for a miracle, but the miracle wasn't coming, not yet. Then suddenly a name appeared: Kyril Louis-Dreyfus, a billionaire, but not the typical spoiled caricature. His father, Robert Louis-Dreyfus, ran Adidas, transformed Marseille into a European powerhouse, was one of football's most influential business minds. His mother, Margarita, is one of Europe's wealthiest women. Kyril grew up inside football boardrooms, inside the culture, inside the pressure. He saw what real football projects look like. But here's the twist: Kyril wasn't interested in buying a club to show off. He wanted a project, something he could build, something he could learn from, something he could fix. And he chose Sunderland. Not because it was easy, but because it was broken. February 2021. At just 23 years old, Kyril Louis-Dreyfus officially took control of Sunderland. The youngest owner in English football history. Fans were confused, skeptical, hopeful, but cautious. Was this another false dawn, another smooth-talking owner, another dream that would die in a year? But Kyril didn't come with speeches, he came with actions. He cleared debt, he modernized the training ground, he rebuilt the academy, he hired actual qualified executives, something the club hadn't had in ages. He installed a long-term recruitment plan based on data, youth and sustainability. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't dramatic, it was smart, something Sunderland hadn't seen in years. And slowly, the giant began to wake up. Kyril didn't promise overnight miracles, but what happened next shocked everyone. A new sporting director, a new analytics department, a new youth-first philosophy. Signings with resale value, not panic buys. Sunderland weren't just rebuilding, they were evolving. In 2022, they finally escaped League One, back to the Championship. And the football, fast, fearless, energetic. Everything fans had been craving. Within a year, Sunderland, newly promoted, went all the way to the Championship playoffs. The Stadium of Light was alive again, the world noticed. Sunderland weren't a punchline anymore. They were a problem to every team that faced them. But here's where the story becomes complicated. Kyril's vision is long-term. Development over stardom, potential over reputation. Not every fan loves it. Some want big money signings, some want Premier League ambition now. But Kyril, he's playing a different game. He doesn't want to gamble Sunderland's future. He doesn't want the club to collapse again. He wants a sustainable empire, not a short-term miracle. And yes, mistakes were made. Managerial changes, transfers that didn't quite work, young squads that sometimes crumbled under pressure. But compare Sunderland before Kyril to Sunderland now. It's night and day. Before it was death and chaos. A club stuck in darkness, now it's structure and stability. A club with a clear future. It's not perfect, it's not complete, but it's real. In the 24-25 season, Sunderland again managed to qualify for the playoffs. This time they did it, they were promoted to the Premier League. Sunderland today is a club with a young, wealthy owner willing to invest responsibly. A modern football structure, a clear identity, one of the best academies in England, a squad built for development and for profit, a fan base that refuses to give up. And the craziest part, Kyril Louis-Dreyfus is still only in his mid-20s. He's learning, growing, building, and Sunderland is growing with him. This club has lived through everything. Premier League nights under the lights, derby wins, relegation heartbreak, League One humiliation, and the painful rebuilding of a broken identity. But today, there's something different in the air, hope, real hope, and maybe, just maybe, Sunderland needed someone young, someone fearless, someone with vision to remind them of who they truly are. And with Kyril Louis-Dreyfus at the helm, that rise doesn't feel like an if, it feels like a when. If you enjoyed this story, if you want more football legends, scandals, derbies and untold histories, make sure to like, subscribe and tell us. Do you believe Sunderland can become a Premier League powerhouse under Kyril Louis-Dreyfus? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.